Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sooner Surgeon. Today, it's just me and Brody on here today. We'll be talking a little bit at the spring game, which will be at tomorrow. Brody, just really a lot of things to look forward to. You talk about just really, I would say this feels like a more comfortable team going into year two under Brett Venables. A lot of familiarity with the culture, even though there's a lot of new faces. You talk about just maybe there's a little bit of what to expect going into this year, unlike last year. And you just talk about all the new talent that's been added onto the team. Probably the most talent overhaul OU's had in quite a long time.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Uh,
really looking forward to watch tomorrow.
yeah, you bring up a good point. And there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to watching for. Um, so, you know, looking at position groups in specific, if I had to ask you, what position group are you watching for the most?
See, me, I think I've always, I don't know why, I've always loved the offensive line. So I'm going to go with the offensive line. I think we've just kind of heard that the offensive line last year underperformed. There's something like the offensive line last year was bad at any point of the year, but could have had a lot higher of a ceiling with the potential first round pick in Anton Harrison. So you talk about a team, an offensive line that's going to be led most likely by Tyler Guyton and Savion Byrd in this game. We heard Bill Bedenbaugh say that Tyler Guyton is one of the most talented offensive linemen he's ever coached before. Um, really, Tyler Guyton has all the physical tools that what it takes to be a great offensive lineman. And you look at Savion Byrd, he has that nastiness, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Savion Byrd try and pick maybe not a fight, but try and get in it with one of his teammates because that's just the kind of player he is. So I'm really looking forward to watching the offensive line and really see the transformations they've made in offseason number 2 under Jerry Schmidt.
Yeah, with the offensive line specifically, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Caden Green does. He'll be blocking probably, either R. Mason Thomas, Ethan Downs, Rondell Bothroyd, PJ Adebawore. So just going to be interesting to see how he does up against the Sooners D line. But that brings me to what I'm watching for the most position group wise, and that's the defensive line. I'm interested to see how the edges look, but specifically the defensive tackles. What's Isaiah Coe going to look like? Is Jonah Laulu going to take that position change? I mean, from what we've heard on Laulu, it sounds like he's taking it very well. So I just want to see him play defensive tackle in person. Jordan Kelly and then those young guys like Derek LeBlanc, Ashton Sanders, your transfers, Jacob Lacey, Devon Sears. So I'm very intrigued to see what they do. But I think one group that I think no one should buy in anything that happens tomorrow would be running back. Now, Marcus Major, I don't think Major's playing. He's hurt. And then Barnes is not playing. So, Jackson, we're going to see the Tawee Walker legacy game this week or tomorrow. So, I don't think anyone should buy into anything what the running back room does. When Tawee Walker goes for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, I don't want to hear anyone talk about, oh, he's the next thing. He's going to be that guy. So, it'll be interesting to see how much they use Gavin Sawchuk, because I don't know if you want to risk another injury, but I mean, what does Caleb Hicks look like? I don't even think Dalen Smothers is going to play that much. I thought I saw something where he's injured too, or he had something on his arm. So that leaves you down Barnes, Major, and then potentially Dalen Smothers. So it's going to be Sawchuk, Walker, and Hicks. So again, it will be interesting to see how they look, but at the same time, I wouldn't really, come out of that game and be like, okay, this dude shined in the running back room. He's going to be the guy.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think last year I went to the spring game. We saw Tawee Walker. He performed well, but I knew that he wasn't going to see the field. And we've seen that every year, whether it was – we saw it with Jordan Mukes on the defensive side of the ball whenever I went the first year. The dude had an absolute monster game. I mean, people were going out saying Jordan Mukes is going to be the next thing. And actually, Brody, me and you both were high on Mukes at a point. So it's just like, you just like you said, you can't really buy much stock into the spring game. Now, obviously, if a whole position unit dominates the game, then okay, I think you can buy some stock into it. But you talk about these dudes, they kind of know some of each other's tendencies because they've been practicing against each other, playing against each other. So I don't really know how much of a fair measuring stick it's going to be. But also, I'm interested to watch the linebackers too under year 2 under Brent Venables. You just talk about, obviously, Danny Stutzman, the leader of the defense as a whole. What does Kobe McKenzie look like? I actually think he has a chance to have a monster game. Jaron Kanek, what does he look like? Obviously, he has all the physical tools. Just can he put it together on the field? And then you have Desan McCullough and Justin Harrington that will be taking reps at Cheetah. So I think honestly that may be the second spot I'm watching to see is how do they split the snaps between those guys?
That linebacker Cheetah, is Deshaun McCullough going to only play Cheetah, or are they going to use him many different ways? And then Justin Harrington. I mean, we've heard the hype. I'm kind of starting to buy into it. I talked about it. I do think Justin Harrington will make a big role on this team. Just how do they use them? Do they use them together? What all do we see? But that brings us to the next topic here in this video. Who do you think will be the MVP for the offense? These are our early predictions. So who do you got?
I think Sky, he's gonna have a monster game. I was originally gonna say Tommy Walker, but I'm not gonna say that anymore. I think this pick may kind of come out of left field, but I really do think that that Gavin Freeman's gonna put on a show, man. It's just like we've heard it from Gavin Freeman. Kind of has been the wide receiver that we've heard. Okay, he's made improvement, but he hasn't been talked about like Andrew Anthony or Nick Anderson. And I think Freeman's going to, obviously, he's from Heritage Hall, first spring game at OU. His whole family's going to be there. He's going to want to put on a show. So I think Freeman's going to have a monster game.
I'll stick in the wide receiver room. I'm going with Nick Anderson, the Greek god, as Jeremy says. I could totally see Anderson getting a couple touchdowns in this game. I'm actually the wide receiver room. We both picked guys in that room, but I think you could say Jalil Farouk, Drake Stoops. I don't think we'll see much of those two, but obviously, and they could get 3 possessions and still wouldn't be the player of the game. But Andrew Anthony, Jaden Gibson, LV Buckley Shelton. I mean, there's just so many. DJ Graham, what does he look like at receiver? So there's just so many receivers I think could really go off. But I'll go with Nick Anderson. Who do you got for the MVP for the defense? Now, I'll go ahead and start this one out. I'm going with the freshman. It's not one of the 5-star freshmen they got.
Say it.
I'm going with the Pitbull. I'm going with Josiah Wagner. Now, I don't think Woody will play too much. Maybe just like a few drives. But I think just to see what Wagner. I mean, we've heard he's got the instincts. I mean, I really think he will play really well. I think he'll get a pick, and I think he'll have some pass deflection. So again, that's something I'm really looking forward to, is just to see how he looks out there and what he does against those receivers that we were just talking about. We picked to win player of the game on offense.
Yeah, for sure. I have the same exact guy, so I'm going to go with you, Josiah Wagner. It's honestly, to me, it's a toss-up between him and Kobe McKenzie, but I actually do think that we're going to see Josiah Wagner pick off Jackson Arnold. Technically, Jackson Arnold his first career interception, but it's not really an interception that counts. But just like me and Jason talked about it whenever we broke down the defensive back room, the dude, you even said it, just has such natural instincts, finds the ball. He's always around the ball. And I think you can never have too many of those guys on your team. And just like we've said, I do think he's going to end up getting a pick.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm very interested to see just what he does. Who do you got winning the game, the defense or the offense? The scoring is a little bit weird. I'll try to see if I can pull it up for the people who have not seen it.
Well, I know the rule that's the dumb is how the offense gets points for punting. What?
The offense does?
Yeah, 2 points for punting the ball.
Hold on, I got them right in front of me.
The defense gets 5 for forcing.
So here's the rules. So for offense, yeah, you're right. If the offense gets a touchdown, they get 6 points. If the offense gets a field goal, they get 3 points. Punt, 2 points. 2-point conversion, 2. Extra point, 1. And then for defense, if they get a defensive touchdown, it's 12 points. They get a turnover, 7 points. So defensive touchdown is 19 points. And they get a 4th down stop, that's 7 points. Wait, so we're looking at it to where basically if the defense gets a pick 6 on 4th down, they're getting 26 points.
6 points, yeah.
So that's why I'm saying my Josiah Wagner pick, I feel pretty good about that. If that happens, he's for sure the player of the game. But missed field goal, 7 points. Punt, 5 points. Made field goal, 4 points. Sack, 3 points. Pass breakup, 2 points. Missed extra point, 2 points. And missed 2-point conversion is 2 points. So who do you got winning?
I have the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to see a much improved defense this upcoming year. Now, I don't know really what the expectation is. I don't have one for the defense. I just want to see improvement. And last year we saw it in the spring game. The defense will look great, led by the defense and led by Marcus Stripling. I know now we see where Marcus Stripling is at. Obviously, that's why we're saying you can't buy too much stock into the spring game. But I think we're going to see really just a great defensive performance. I actually do think the offense may struggle at times against this defense because you just talk about the size of this defense compared to last year. I mean, if you roll out there in a package, Deshaun McCullough and Justin Harrington, they're not going to be able to throw it. Well, they're going to have trouble being able to find open areas with just their pure size. And we saw that last year with Dylan Gabriel. He struggled at points to go through reads. So it'd also be interesting to see how Dylan Gabriel progresses through his reads, in which I expect to be much improved defense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll be there tomorrow. We'll have a ton of coverage on the spring game, both on our YouTube right here, on our podcast, which will be on YouTube and Spotify, and then on our website, Surge Sports Network. So we think we covered everything in this video.
Yeah, who do you have winning which side of the ball?
The defense. The fact that you can get 26 points in one play, and if they make a field goal, it's 4 points. So wait, was it an extra point? 4 points for them? No, field goal. So yeah, just sack 3 points. Like it's gonna be interesting though, because like I feel like half the time we're not even gonna know what's going on the scoreboard.
No, and also I have one last question for you before we close this. How do you think Sooner Nation is going to show up tomorrow? Do you think we'll see a good crowd, or you think it'll be
Not last year.
No.
I've been seeing people say 40K, 50K. I'm going somewhere in between 60, 70K. I still think OU fans are going to show out. Okay. And there's people saying the spring game attendance doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. And you know, I think it's Oklahoma. You know, there's going to be tons of fans there. My prediction would be in the ballpark of 65,000 people, and 65 to 60, 65 to 55. I see somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I don't expect it. Last year was like 78,000. I was at that. That was wild. I think we covered it all. And if you haven't, please go follow our social medias and please go check out Surge Sports Network. Great site. Just like we've said, Brody's been covering basketball a lot of spring football coverage. We recently just did an article covering Missouri baseball. So if you're interested in the SEC, we got some SEC writers. And please, if you're a teenage kid or maybe even if you're an adult seeing this and are interested in writing, please apply. We would love to have you join our team. We are always looking to improve. We also love whenever you guys comment on our YouTube videos, interact with us. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe. We really are just thankful for how you guys are starting to grow our channel.
Hey, one more thing for everyone on here before we get off. You mentioned that OU basketball. They got a commit coming very soon. So you go to our site. We'll be one of the first ones to have an article talking about the commit and all that. So, yeah, I think that pretty much covered it. We'll have all kinds of content following the spring game over there. So, yeah, Boomer.